Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It's your boy D Rhythm. We back with another video, and today we got a special video. Today we're gonna be talking about the same thing we usually be talking about every time we come to this channel, and we just want to go ahead and reiterate this because we got to keep talking about it, right? It's operating in angles, right? The most important thing to understand, especially in the terms of basketball or in terms of life or in terms of whatever is your ability to operate in angles, right? If you can't hit your point at an initial angle, change the angle in which you are looking from, and then that way that you can see from another lens and hit points that you initially couldn't hit from that initial angle. By changing the trajectory and the angle in which you are approaching from, this gives you more attack points that you can hit your target from, right? So by changing the angle, I change I give myself another angle. I can hit things that I initially couldn't hit from the initial angle that I took, right? So that is important, right? You know what I'm saying? In terms of business, in terms of life, in terms of circumstances, in terms of athleticism, basketball, working out, by changing the angle, this is what gives you more options in order for you to become better at whatever, become better and continue to grow continually. Because circumstance is a motherfucker, right? Circumstance only gives you so many options, right? The measure and value of a person isn't by what they accomplish necessarily. It's about how they manage their way through the circumstances that they're dealt. So, in order for you to be able to manage the circumstances you're dealt, it means being able to have a raw, um, in strengthened and enhanced mind to angles and different attack points that you can, being open minded, right? I always go back to the target or the video I made about recycling, or the concept I made about recycling, which is I believe is the strongest concept that I ever made, because when you recycling requires you to utilize things that you necessarily didn't know you could utilize in a specific way, right? Recycling is taking the shit that you already have, taking, that maybe you're just loose parts, right, that you could, that most people would want to throw away, but you would recycle and take these pieces that you still have. Instead of throwing away, it's utilizing them and recycling them and actually putting them to use. This is how businesses grow, and this is how entrepreneurs make their mark, right? It comes from recycling. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that is the important thing to know, right? And to be able to recycle, you have to be able to operate at angles. You know what I'm saying? Reassess and assess your environment and search your situation and your circumstances, and being able to take the pieces from what you have, you know what I'm saying, and recycle those pieces, right? Those pieces that you see as insignificant, because it's very easy to look at what other people do, and, you know what I'm saying, get so caught up in chasing something that you forget the life that you have in front of you, and the opportunities that you have in front of you, to the point to where you miss out on your own growth, because you're looking externally out for something that you already have within your own vicinity. So that's why recycling, or the concept of recycling, is important, because now we're taking and utilizing the things that we already have in the toolbox, and we're putting them to use. When we get into a psychology of just of looking externally, which is easy to do, right? Because what you see on social media, it's easy to look at what everybody else does, you know what I'm saying, and the things that they do, and think that in order for you to get there, you have to go outside of yourself to do it. But really, the real blessing and the real growth and the real gems come from what you already have, and putting those to use the right way. So the battle isn't really necessarily to extend yourself and to go outside of yourself, and to try to, like, you know what I'm saying, kill yourself and work hard, and all that type of nonsense, right? Outside of yourself. but it's actually your ability to utilize your mind and to be able to continually figure out ways in order for you to be able to put the things that you already have to use. So that's the nature of this video right here, and that's what we wanted to talk about, and bring back to light. We also wanted to talk about something else too. We also want to talk about a few things, right? So, other experiences in terms of dealing with, you know, your own, in terms of dealing with mental health, psychological. I'll say it like this, right? Restructuring your mind is very important, right? You can give a million gems and you can give a million thousand gems to somebody or to people, but that the gems that you give can process incorrectly. The incorrect processing of a person, comes from incorrect wiring of the brain or the mind. So, and this is something that can get, um, you know, this is something that can, has to be checked. It's always a matter of esteem, and it's always a matter of just your ability to structure and set your mind in the right goals. Depending on your environment or depending on your influence, your the wiring of your own brain can get misaligned depending on your what you're around and what's influencing you. So the important thing to understand is always being able to, of course, as well protect your mind and your circumstances and your stance, because you can have an entirely different agenda than other people expect, and people it can be valuing something or things that completely go against what you actually value, or the things that you actually look at, and the things that you actually know, and points that you can actually see that they can't see, right? And it's easy to get off those points by getting influenced. So in order to protect your influence, it's important to structure and wire your brain uh, according to said goals, right? And said experiences, right? Said experiences and said goals, right? So that's all I have for y'all today in this video. Expect some more. We back on it, man. We've been off this, but yeah, we back on it. So peace. We out this joint.